Okay, you guys did backups with incremental,
Mm-hmm.
backup in there. And you chose incremental for what reason?
Because it's a shorter time for backup, so it's less stress on the network.
Okay.
We're gonna be
Well,
running
when's your
at
backup
night,
gonna run
but-
anyways?
Huh?
When's your backup gonna run
At
anyways?
night after everybody leaves.
Are you a 24/7 shot? Well, after everybody leaves?
Yeah, after everybody leaves.
Then why are you worrying about the stress on the network at that point?
Just mainly for the restore process, in case anybody has a file that's deleted or anything, we need to restore it.
Okay, so, but in that case though, how quickly you need to have that back if somebody was to delete a file?
Well, if we do differential, if that file changes day after day, that file's just gonna build and build and build. So you're moving back into the incremental area, and it's gonna take equal amount of time to restore that file or whatever, so. We were looking at the lesser of two evils, so.
Let's say they lose it on Thursday.
Mhm.
How many tapes am I going to need for the incremental to go and bring that back? What tapes I need? Well, I need. If file got deleted or something got destroyed on Thursday.
You need the
Full
previous part.
everything
Yeah.
back up to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need the Friday before whatever the
And then
last full
Monday,
one
Tuesday,
was, Monday,
Wednesday,
Tuesday,
correct.
Wednesday. If you did it by way of a differential, what are you going to need to restore it
The Friday and then the night before.
that night before? So it's just determining in which way it's going to be
Yeah.
done. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So you guys had wireless clients set up in
Wireless
there?
barcode readers.
How many of those did you have?
8.
8. So how'd you set up those barcode readers, or would you set up? Did you go to each one of them individually?
What's that?
Did you guys go to each one individually? Let's say even just like a computer that's going to use a wireless
Right.
We
capability.
put the MAC address in.
Okay, on the wireless base side, right?
Right.
That now on the client side, for them to get connected to there, you use WPA, right? So they're gonna have some key, whatever
Right,
long key you
disable the
have.
broadcast, right?
Okay, so you're gonna have some keys. That means you'll have to manually add in those keys.
Right.
That's one way of doing it. You'd have to go in there, set up. So did you guys look at a way in which you can set up the clients quickly without having to actually manually add in? Because you may be down the road expanding, now we got 40 devices. We're gonna have to sit there and type in those keys. If you mistype the key, it's not gonna work. If you look at the wireless as how you can do this without without manually typing in all that information.
We had no way of testing it. We
We
didn't actually
may,
have.
I
But
don't
we do
know.
a script
Or
file.
anything.
Just in the future, if you guys look at the wireless when you do that, a lot of those you can do it as a USB, put it onto a flash drive, and then you take the flash drive and plug it into each device and run it off of there. So that way you don't have to do all that stuff. The flash drive holds all the wireless configurations and so forth off of it to make your life a whole lot easier. That's my point. All right.
Stay by the cargo laws.
Okay.
You've got a few minutes.
Do you have any questions there, Osama? Osama, you have any questions?
I could ask 6 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll ask each one of you to kind of elaborate on what you've done, and with about 30 seconds or so, if you could perhaps give me a nice, concise answer, I would appreciate it. We'll start off with Troy. I know that part of what you did was to do a lot of scripting.
Right.
Could you maybe elaborate on that and what
Well,
tool did you
instead of
do?
manually entering all the given users that we were given, there was only a partial list. Instead of manually entering them and creating a password on each separate one, I used a scripting CSV file to create the users, and that initially goes in as a disabled. So I ran a separate DS mod file to enable them and give the initial password. There is things out there you could do it all in one. We didn't have time to really look at that. I know that's the LDIF. So basically, I ran 2 separate batch files, one for Lake Hattie and one for Elk Island to create the users, and then I ran 2 separate batch files to enable them and create the passwords.
What command did you use in the batch files?
DS, which one? In the CSV, we have just the typical CN, common name equals whatever their first name is, and then we had the OU equals, and then basically the bottom OU is the first one and goes up.
Okay, so you just did a CSV file for all of this?
CSV, yeah.
Okay.
And Aaron, you did the subnetting. Did you do it by hand, or did you use any kind of tool in order to come up with a nice subnetting table?
You did it by hand, you know him, Cassandra. You did it
Absolutely.
by
I
hand.
used an abacus and,
We brought in a slide rule.
right? No, I did use a tool. You know, there are many subnetting tools online for the sake of time purposes and accuracy, you know, to get it right the first time.
And to double check the hand calculations.
Very well.
Exactly.
You wanna name some tools that you used, or?
Network calculator.
Yeah, there's all types of networking calc. I think we use subnetting.info.
Yeah, subnetting.info.
I believe is the website.
Subnet.info.
Subnet.info. Yeah.
Subnetmask.info.
Yeah. You put it in your favorites. You put it in
Yeah.
your-
Get it.
Exactly. So, right.
That's an affidavit.
Cool, thank you. Alan, password policies, did you do anything else other than, well, did you do anything with account logout policies and password policy?
Account policies,
Account logout policy?
lockout policies?
Right, and
No, I didn't look at the lockout policy, I created basically just the two password policies, one for the domain and one for
is it something that you would recommend that,
Yes.
If we had more than 4 days, we probably could have.
Yeah,
looked into
probably
that.
would.
Yeah,
More
I mean,
with
you
that.
get deeper into it, you get into the account lockout, you definitely need to do that, so. For security purposes.
cool. And Kelly, on the servers, when you set up those servers, you set up RAID, did you?
I wasn't part of that.
Oh,
Part
no.
of the radio, no.
What did you do with the servers?
I set up DHCP, also worked with Active Directory, and a few other things. But yeah, the RAID, I actually wasn't in on that part.
Who did that?
Right. I guess we talked about, right, I don't think we really, there was no way to really implement it or on the test network, because we're limited on hard drives. I mean, what we talked about is having RAID 5 as redundancy, but there was no way for us, because each of the machines we were given had one hard drive, so it was a little hard for us to test that out.
Okay. I'll come back to Kelly, I guess, in just a little bit. Rich, did you, are you the one that configured RAS servers?
That was me and Troy.
Yeah.
Figured it.
Okay, as far as routing protocols go, did you choose one over another, or how did you make all of the servers know one another and how to route packets?
Routing tables, how they update each other.
We did something on the subnet mask. We had the subnet mask of the 255.255, and we basically hooked up each one separately, made sure the router, the server could contact the 3 domain controllers, and then we worked on that for them to connect, talk to each other. So
Well,
we
they
kind of
were
built
on the
that.
same network physically too, so that.
That does help too, but
So you did not need to
Right.
implement any routing protocols because you have simple
It's in the
networks.
same, yeah.
Okay. And Mike, you mentioned offline backup. Would you like to expand on that?
You mean on-site, off-site backup?
Exactly. I mean, offsite.
We didn't really get into the details of that, but, I mean, you could use a rotation method to store backups off-site just for safety and security purposes. We didn't really get too
Building
deep into
birds
the
down.
backup. I mean, we knew we were gonna use backup, we set up an initial backup schedule. I know just from where I've worked in the past that it's, you know, you gotta have on-site and off-site storage for security purposes.
And what are some of the ways that you're thinking of doing as far as offsite?
Rotation method, I haven't gotten deep into it, but I'd have to set up a rotation method with the tapes to make sure that we have the correct tapes on and off-site, so.
Sounds good.